Welcome back to this episode of Talking Shit, presented by Colitis Unfiltered. My name is Frank Tabering, and today I'm delighted to talk to Kim, who got diagnosed with Crohn's at age 26 in Atlanta, Georgia. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. So Crohn's, let's quickly talk about the timeline of your disease. So when it started, and then also what you kind of went through, where you are today. Take us to your timeline.
This disease has honestly taken me through hell, but I would probably say back in 2022, my first symptom was kind of like an autoimmune rash, and I didn't know it at the time, but it literally exploded all over my face. And I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it was an allergic reaction. Went to the dermatologist. They were like, yep, definitely allergic reaction, but it just never went away. And then a little bit after that, it was all the stomach pain started happening. I was in and out of the doctors all the time, and they could never tell me what was going on. They just said, oh yeah, you have IBS. And they're like, oh, but you're also anemic, but you also have IBS. And I was like, okay, well, what can I do about that? Because I'm in pain all the time. What's kind of going on? And it would kind of come in waves. So there was a couple months where I felt really good. I could eat whatever I wanted. And then there was some months where I was just on bedridden, basically. And it was really, really hard because I just felt I didn't really have anyone listening to all of the pain that I was going through. And I finally went to another doctor. They did an ultrasound, and they said that I had liver issues. And I was like, okay, I'm 24 years old at this point, and I just turned 28 a couple days ago. So I was like, how could I have liver issues at 24? That actually sounds insane. And they're like, yeah, it's just mild fatty liver, just eat clean and you can reverse it. And I was like, okay. And they're like, yeah, and you're also anemic, so just take an iron pill and you'll be fine. And I was like, okay, cool. Did that for a couple months, reversed my mild fatty liver, but I was still in so much pain, stomach wise. And again, it came in waves. I was really good one month, really bad another month. And I was like, what is going on? I also lost a dramatic amount of weight. I was 125. I went down to 100 pounds. It was just really bad. And then after I reversed my mild fatty liver, I started eating a lot more. And again, I felt super, super good. And then early 2025, I would say, I was just throwing up all the time. It didn't matter what I put in my system, water, soup, everything, I was throwing up. And again, I lost a whole bunch of weight. And I was also in and out of the bathroom all the time. Couldn't eat anything, had horrible stomach cramps, everything. Went to the doctor, wouldn't listen to me again. It wasn't until my mom pretty much called them and was like, my daughter's literally dying. I'm about to take her to the hospital if you don't do something about it. Got a colonoscopy done, and then boom, they diagnosed me with Crohn's, and it's been really hard. I wasn't on medication for a really long time, and I was just kind of I guess in denial about the whole thing. I was like, this can't be happening to me. I'm super fit. I go to the gym all the time. I eat really healthy. Why is this happening to me? And then I finally started medication, and I am feeling a lot better, but there are days where I just, again, I'll randomly throw up, can't eat anything, can't even stomach water. It's just such a process, I guess. So, yeah.
You mentioned the first symptoms that you had until you got officially diagnosed. Months and months passed, right? Did you just see one doctor, and it was always just the same doctor that told you, oh, it's nothing, and you just trusted that person? Or did you seek another opinion? Or how did you navigate sort of the doctor patient relationship and not knowing what is going on, and nobody really telling you or trying to dig deeper, right, about what you have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to multiple doctors. I went to a primary care doctor. She just wrote me off and was like, you need to go see the GI. And I said, okay. Went to go see a GI. She was like, oh, you're just anemic. You probably just have IBS. It's you're stressed out or something like that, which is causing you to have all these stomach problems. And I'm like, okay. Went to another doctor. I probably went to 3 or 4 before one actually took me seriously. And then even after I got diagnosed, my doctor was like, yeah, you can eat whatever you want. Just don't eat anything hard. Don't have meat or hard chicken or fried chicken and stuff like that. And I was like, you're actually insane. I can't eat anything. I can't even have rice. Everything makes my stomach hurt. You're not helping me at all. So.
And that was the doctor that actually diagnosed you with Crohn's.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was telling me, eat whatever you want. It's fine. And I was like, well, I can't even drink water or have mashed potatoes or rice or anything like that. So I really don't know what you're talking about. And my mom was not having it. She Like, I wouldn't say she, like, cussed them out, but she was like, "How dare you basically, like, treat my daughter like this? Like, this is all so new to her. It's all, like, new to us. Like, how could you do this to us?" So yeah, we ended up finding another doctor and yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So right now, today, how are you feeling generally?
I have good days and bad days. I feel like I have a lot more good days now just because, like, I'm on Skyrizi, and that's, like, the first medication I started, and I started that, like, February of this year, and so I do feel a lot better, but I still get flares, like, almost every month, and I'm still trying to kind of, like, navigate, like, what's the main cause of it? Like, is it food? Is it stress related? Is it, like, I don't know, just trying to, like, figure out what exactly, like, the root cause of it is, but I'm, like, starting to notice that, like, if I take too on, like, throughout the day, or if I'm, like, really stressed out or really emotional, the flares start to happen, so I feel better, but I'm still not, like, 100%.
When you're being pulled into one of these flares, how did you navigate them? First of all, like how long do they typically last, and what do you do to sort of protect yourself, apply some self-care? How are you experiencing those flares? What are you doing? How are you surviving those flares?
That's a really good question. I'm actually in a flare right now, so it's funny that, you say that. I think before medication, my flares would last, like, at least a week or more, and I would pretty much just be in bed, like, the whole day. Now, it's more like it'll last, like, a couple days, and, like, I'll slowly start to, like, eat again, so just eating, like, a lot of soft foods, like, my pantry is just stocked with, like, cans of chicken noodle soup, so I'm, like, always prepared. Same thing with, like, protein shakes, and my heating pad is always next to my bed. I do castor oil packs, like, every night. So when I do get into a flare, I do them, like, more often, like, I'll keep it on, like, the whole entire day and at night too. And I just, like, rest and just hydrate as much as I can and just, like, try not to stress myself out. I notice, like, during flares too, I will have, like, a lot of anxiety, so I try to, like, keep myself, like, kinda busy so I'm not just, like, laying in bed, like, "Why is this happening to me?" So, like, reading or just finding anything to kind of, like, distract myself and just, like, taking it easy, like, if the only thing I did today was get up and take a shower, that's, like, an accomplishment for me.
I think the heating pad is definitely resonating with me because one of the things that I used to do during my colitis flares is just heating pad, comfortable blanket, and literally I would lie on a comfortable carpet even because it's a little bit harder surface, in fetal position, and then just rest, like nothing else matters. It's just getting through the pain. So I can definitely relate to that. Now, going back to your diagnosis, when the doctor told you have Crohn's, what went through your mind? Have you heard of Crohn's before? Did the doctor explain it to you? Did you have to go and do your own research? Take me a little bit through the process of moment of diagnosis and what went through your mind.
So, it's actually funny. I heard of Crohn's, like, a couple days before my colonoscopy because my mom is actually friends with a nurse and was, like, telling her, like, what was going on. And the nurse was like, "Oh, like, she probably has Crohn's." And so I looked it up and I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is the last thing that I want." And I was, like, hoping and praying. I was like, "I don't care what it is, I just really don't want it to be this." But, of course, like, I just have bad luck, and I was still kinda, like, loopy, like, from coming out of, like, my colonoscopy, and they were like, "Yeah, like, she definitely, like, has Crohn's." And I was just like, of course I have Crohn's." Like, I just felt, like, super defeated, never even, like, heard much about it. They were just, like, telling my mom, like, "It's hereditary or it's caused by, like, environmental factors." And I'm like, "Well, nobody in my family has it." So I'm just, like, the unlucky one that got this.
Yeah, yeah. So we talked a little bit about what you're doing while you're flaring, but then when you have periods that you're actually feeling good, you're coming out of the flare. And me, for instance, I've been lucky enough to be in remission for a long time. But every time, for instance, for me, if I see a little bit of like a difference in my stool or I have some abdominal pain, there's this fear that creeps into my head, right? Telling me, could this be the next flare, right? Could this be the end of my remission? So when you actually feel good in those periods where you're not necessarily flaring, how do you manage this fear of when does the next flare show up?
It's always kind of in the back of my mind. when I do have periods of, like, feeling good, I think I'm just so used to getting one, like, every month, and I'm just like, "Okay, well, I know it's gonna come eventually." So I'm just kind of, like, anticipating it, which I feel like in a way, like, isn't good because, like, your gut and your mind are very connected, like, your gut is, like, pretty much your second brain, so I feel like just by me saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm about to get one in, like, the next couple weeks 'cause I haven't gotten one this month," and it's just, like, in a way, like, signaling, like, my body, like, "Hey, like, we listen to you, like, words are powerful, like, it's gonna happen if you keep saying that." So, yeah, I mean, it's always kind of in the back of my mind, and I try to be a lot more cautious about it now, but it still, like, creeps up on me, so
What I'm hearing is that at least when you're feeling good, you have these thoughts, and I guess it's almost like a negative emotion, right? Because it's
yeah.
tied to fear that it's coming. And you tell me that, well, then it's almost like you're sort of unwillingly manifesting it, and it might show up after. Are you also experiencing it the other way around? Let's say that if you're flaring or a flare starting and you try to, I don't know, apply positivity, or you're telling yourself, no, but I'm gonna beat this thing. Are you noticing maybe a connection there as well, or is it more like the negative thoughts or the negative thinking that always wins?
I feel like it's always the negative that always wins. I do try to stay positive, like, throughout the thing, and I'm like, "Okay, like, today I feel a lot better. Let me get up and, at least, like, let me try to clean my room. Let me try to at least do something." So I feel like it does sometimes like, I am, like, positive about it sometimes, but I don't think I've gotten to that point yet where I, like, can fully grasp, like, my disease because I'm still, like, so new to this, like, whole thing, and, like, I was undiagnosed for, like, 3 years. So, this is like a whole new experience for me, but I am trying to, like, stay positive and, like, hope that things will work out for me, like, in the end, but it's hard, like, when you're not feeling good and you have stuff that you have to do, like, I'm an adult, like, I have my own apartment, I have a cat, like, I have all these things I have to do, and then when I get into a flare, I'm like, "Oh, why is this happening?"
How do you think, even though you're still early in your diagnosis, you've been experiencing at least symptoms for a long time? How do you think that Crohn's is changing you as a person, or has changed you as a person already?
Yeah, I feel like it honestly has changed, like, my whole entire life. I just look at life a lot differently now. I think I'm very grateful for the times that I do feel really good, and I'm just, like, happy when I feel good, and I just am like, "Okay, like, this feels great, like, I'm happy to be alive," like, even though I have something that's, like, kind of debilitating sometimes, like, I am just, like, grateful for every moment that I feel decent, but it has changed, like, a lot of my relationships have changed, a lot of, like, the way I look has changed. My hair is a lot thinner than it was, like, a couple years ago. My weight fluctuates, like, all the time, like, I don't have a lot of energy anymore, so just trying to, like, navigate those things can be really hard because it's like, I can't do what I did when I was, like, 21 and I didn't have, like, these issues. So, just trying to find ways to, like, enjoy life, but in a different way now. So, yeah, I would probably say, like, everything about, like, my life has changed, some good, some bad, I know my body better than anybody else that's, like, technically, like, healthy, so I guess that's also, like, a good thing, and, like, food-wise too, like, I can't really eat as much as, like, a normal person, I guess, so, like, socially, like, body-wise, physically, all the above, like, my whole life has basically turned upside down.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask you actually, you touched on a few things that I wanted to mention as well, but, like, how do you feel that Crohn's has affected your body image, your intimacy, your relationships, have you seen this sort of like impeding these things, or in what ways has it, or is it having an effect on you?
So, I would probably say, like, relationship-wise, like, it has been a little bit hard, just, like doesn't even have to be, like, romantic, but I love my friends, my, like, support system is amazing, but they don't really understand what I'm going through, and when I'm, like, in a flare or when there's, like, something that I can't do anymore, it's kind of like, "Oh, dang, but, like, you were able to do those things before," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's different now, and I can't really do that." And of course, they're super understanding, but, I'm just not the same Kim that I was, like, a couple years ago, and it could be a little frustrating sometimes, like, "Oh, I can't do those things anymore," like, maybe they just, like, won't wanna hang out with me or things like that. but they've been very, like, gracious and amazing, like, throughout the whole thing, so I guess, like, when it comes to meeting new people, like, if I wanna make new friends or, like, if I wanna go on a date or something, I have to, like, sit down and explain to them, like, "Hey, I can't, like, eat there because this is gonna hurt my stomach because I have, like, an incurable stomach disease," and then I have to, like, sit down and explain to them and, like, if I have to, like, cancel plans with, like, a new friend because like, I'm not feeling well, so I think, like, my inner circle understands, but meeting new people can just be, like, a little bit harder, I guess.
You say your friends are supportive, but there's also a certain lack of understanding. When you talk to people about Crohn's, do you have a feeling that they do at least understand what it is? And also, and I think because when I talk to a lot of people online, that are not really sure how to navigate this disease, they always wonder, how should I approach this with friends or new people that I meet? What would you answer to them on like how they should express themselves and what they should say about their condition?
That's a tough one, because it is, like, a disease that a lot of like, if you don't have it yourself, like, you can't really explain it to someone, like, I try my best to be like, "Yeah, my flares literally feel like I have rocks scraping my insides," and, like, of course, they're not gonna know, like, what that feels like, so I guess I would just kind of explain, like, I'm gonna have my good days and I'm gonna have my bad days, but my bad days are gonna be really bad, and, like, if you can't accept and, like, understand that, then, like, we have no business, like, being friends or, like, romantic or whatever the case is because this is something that, you're gonna have, like, forever. Even if you're in remission, like, you still have it, and so it's just kind of finding the right words to, like, say, I guess, and just, like, letting them know, like, I may not look like I have anything wrong with me, but I do, and just because I'm moving around and, like, doing all these things does not mean that I'm not in pain. So just for them to be, like, more understanding about that.
Who has been your biggest supporter in this battle so far, and how have they helped you through this disease?
I would probably say, like, the online community that I've, like, built, like, on TikTok. Of course, like, my friends and family, like, are amazing, and I'm not ever gonna say that they aren't, but again, it's very hard to explain this disease to somebody that doesn't really know, like, what I'm talking about. So, I think everyone that I've met throughout, like, this journey has been so, like, supportive, and it's so nice to be able to, like, rant and vent, talk about medicine, like, all those types of things with, like, people that just understand. My roommate is also amazing. She may not fully, like, understand, like, what's happening, but she does try to, like, be there for me, like, when I'm sick, especially because, like, I lived with my parents, like, when I was first diagnosed, and my mom was always, like, running to my room, making sure I was good, trying to find, like, different ways to, like, help me. And my roommate has kind of, like, taken that role, and if I'm not feeling well, she'll make me, like, a tea, or she's like, "Is there anything I can get you?" So I'm, like, really grateful to have that, and also, like, the online community, like, as well.
And I'm sure your cat probably as well, right?
Yeah, she's a
This-
little spicy, but yeah, I feel like she knows when I'm sick, and she won't leave my side when I'm, going through a flare or something like that, so I love her too.
See, there you go. I know that they can feel it when we're not well, and even though they're buttholes sometimes with their attitude and their character, I feel like they sort of have this protectiveness, like they want to protect us, right? So yeah, that's good. Now, let's talk a little bit about your presence online, what you're doing, the awareness that you raise. You're advocating for yourself and for others with this disease. A lot of people really struggle to talk about it and talk about it openly. And yet here you are, and this is actually how we connected because I stumbled across your profiles and I was like, wow, you're just really out there and you don't have any filter, and that's perfect. I was like, I gotta talk to this one. So how did you find the courage to do this? Did you just one day wake up and say, you know what, I need to share what I'm experiencing, or was it like gradual? How did you go from somebody who's really suffering from this to sharing what you're going through with the rest of the world?
So, I actually used to be, like, a very, like I didn't even want to be, like, known online, like, posting a video and just, like, listening it back to myself, I'm like, "Ugh," like, I just don't wanna do that, like, I would post, like, little videos, but I would never speak, I would never sit in front of the camera, like, I would never do any of that, And then I think like when I got diagnosed, like I said earlier, like I just feel like my whole perspective on like life changed. And I'm just like, life is like too short. I'm already sick. I'm going to be sick for a long time. Even if I get into remission, like I'm still going to have like whatever's going on with me. So I'm just like, I might as well just do whatever I want at this point. Like I don't really care what anyone has to say about me. Like I'm going to post about this and that's it. And I didn't really expect it to like get to the capacity that it is now because I do get a lot of messages from people that are like, "Have you done this? Like, have you done this? Like, oh, I've seen your page. Like, this is what I'm going through." And like it makes me feel good because I'm like, "Okay, yes, I have this thing that's like going on with me, but like I'm not the only one." And I love when people reach out to me and I love when people ask me questions because I feel like I'm kind of helping in a way. And even though, like, I'm not a doctor, I'm just, like, a girl that has, like, stomach issues, I just I just like doing it at this point, and I just don't really care. Like, I just am gonna speak my truth, and whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't, then, like, it's fine. You don't have to follow me or have to listen to anything I have to say, but I just kinda have the mindset of, like, I'm gonna do whatever I want in this life because I already feel like a big part of me is gone, so I might as well just make the most of it at this point.
You're talking as we sort of slowly move to the closing. You are talking to people, you are answering questions, messages that people ask you online. So, what kind of advice would you have for friends and family who are supporting someone with Crohn's but may not fully understand it? What would you tell them? How should they act towards that person? How can they best support a person with Crohn's?
I would probably say the number one thing is to, like, be patient, because 'cause they're gonna have days where they don't feel good, and they might cancel plans, and they might, like there's just so much that comes with this, and I don't think people really again, like, people don't really realize, like, what we go through, so I just think being patient and understanding, like, where they're coming from, and just because they look okay does not mean that they are. So, probably be patient, ask some questions, like, let them know that I'm here to support you in, like, whatever you need, like, "Can I bring you soup? Can I take you to your doctor's appointments? Can I take you to your infusions?" Like, anything to kind of let them know that you're supportive. Because even if you don't understand, I feel like that would make a world of difference. I know my friends, like, when I first got diagnosed, they were sending me, like, articles. They're like, "Oh, you should take, like, these supplements." Like, even doing things like that just, like, makes me feel good, and, like, I'll have friends that are like, "Oh, like, they're doing this research study, like, on Crohn's," and they'll, like, send it to me. So just, like, little things like that, like, kind of doing your own research on the disease itself, like, taking them to like, finding supplements, like, food that they could probably eat, like, if we're gonna go out to eat or something and they're, like, gluten and dairy free, just being, like, considerate, just like, "Oh, they can't eat here, but, like, maybe we can eat here." So, I would say definitely being patient and, like, considerate of the person because their whole life, like, just changed. They don't need to be dealing with all these external factors when they have, like, an internal war going on, like, in their body.
You said something that I absolutely believe to be a very good thing, and that is for them to do their own research as well, to educate themselves first. And then I always say, while this is a really great tactic and it's a really great sign of support, just be careful that you don't overdo it and that you not necessarily force the knowledge that you discover onto the patient either, right?
Yeah.
Because we might just not be receptive. So it's just take whatever you learn by yourself with a grain of salt. I think offer the help, and then when we are ready to accept it or to take it, we will let you know, right? And we'll go along with it. So yeah, no, but that's really great. That's really good.
I would wait for all that research talk after they've, like, marinated in the fact that, like, they have it because I know that when I was first diagnosed, like, my family especially, they're like, "Well, you can do this and you can do that," and I'm like, "Honestly, I don't wanna hear it." Like, I don't even wanna have this. Like, I don't wanna hear it. I don't want anything to do with this, but now I'm a little bit more like, "Okay," like, hear them out. So, yeah, just wait for them to, like, grasp that they have the disease and then share all the research and things like that.
Exactly, exactly. Give them some time, some space. I think that's the winning formula, and then letting them know that whenever they're ready, they can just come to you and they're there for help. So showing up, I think that's really like a strong part. Yeah, that's really cool. So we talked about the past, we talked about the present now, and I would always like to end with the future. And this is a question that might be extremely difficult to answer, but I do believe that everybody who is going through IBD has some sort of an idea or at least a wish. Do you think that in our lifetime we'll see a cure to IBD?
I would love to see that, and I don't see why not. I feel like medicine has definitely come a long way. I'm in a support group on Facebook, and there are people that have been diagnosed for like years, and since they were like my age, like long, long, long time ago, and they've said medicine has come a long way. So I don't see why not. I feel like if they're doing like the research behind it, I don't see why there couldn't someday be a cure to this. I don't know if it'll be in my lifetime, but I would still love to be able to see it if it is. But it would be nice.
It absolutely would be. I always say as well, I don't necessarily think that it's going to be in my lifetime, but the one after, I think they're getting, or they will get much, much closer. Yeah, that's true. So we'll leave with a message of hope
Yeah.
and see what happens. Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I really enjoyed learning about your struggles and also about how you're doing right now. The only thing I can say to you is keep doing what you're doing with your online presence, and I hope that your treatment continues to be effective, and really hope for you that the number of flares will decrease and the number of good days will increase. So thank you so much for being on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
That's it for today's episode of Talking Shit, presented by Colitis Unfiltered. I'm Frank Tabering, and if this hit home or hit your gut, do us a favor, subscribe to the show, and follow us at Colitis Unfiltered on YouTube, Substack, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Reddit. We'll see you soon for more inspiring stories from the bathroom floor.